Why some people push your buttons and how to stop it. Have you ever met someone who seems to know exactly how to push your buttons? You know the type. A coworker who turns every meeting into their own long speech. A family member who always finds something wrong even when things are good. Or a friend who makes big promises but never really follows through. It can feel very frustrating, like you are stuck in the same situation again and again. Every conversation feels tiring and unproductive, like you're hitting a wall. But here's something important that can change how you see this. These difficult people in your life can actually teach you something. Think of them like heavy weights at the gym. They are uncomfortable and hard to deal with, but they help you become stronger over time. The goal is not to change them, like because in most cases you can't. The real skill is learning how to bring out the best in people, even when they are at their worst. Chapter 1. From Victim to Influencer. A Big Shift. Imagine you're standing at a crossroads. One road is called Stay a Victim. The other is called Become an Influencer. When we deal with difficult people, most of us don't even think about it. We go down the first road. We complain, we avoid the person, or we keep everything inside until we explode later and talk about it with others. But here is a powerful idea. You cannot force people to change, but you can influence them to want to change. It is like learning the right code in communication. When you find the right way to talk and react, everything can suddenly become easier. A manager once shared his experience with a very difficult employee. In meetings, this person always questioned every decision and made things harder for everyone. At first, the manager tried to argue back and take control, but this only made the situation worse. Later, he changed his approach. Instead of fighting, he started listening carefully and trying to understand what was really behind the employee's behavior. And something surprising happened. The employee wasn't trying to be difficult just for no reason. They actually cared a lot about the project and were afraid of making mistakes. This is not about letting people walk over you or trying to control them. It is about understanding that behind difficult behavior, there is usually a human need, like feeling safe, heard, or respected. When you understand that need and respond in a respectful way, things can change in a powerful way. You stop feeling like a victim of other people's behavior and you start becoming someone who can guide interactions in a better direction. Chapter 2. Meeting the Unwanted 10. Your Difficult People Gallery. Let's be honest, difficult people often fall into a few familiar types. It can feel like they all took the same How to Annoy Everyone class. This book describes 10 common types you've probably already met in real life. There is the tank, the person who pushes through every conversation like they are breaking down a door. They are not always loud, but they are very intense and focused. If you get in their way, you end up feeling pushed aside. Then there is the sniper, the person who doesn't attack openly. Instead, they make small, sarcastic comments or helpful remarks that actually make your ideas look bad. They usually do this quietly when others are not expecting it. And then there is the grenade, one of the most unpredictable types. Everything seems fine, and suddenly they explode over something small. After that, everyone is confused and trying to figure out what just happened. Here is something interesting. Once you start noticing these patterns, you realize you actually have four choices. You can stay and do nothing, but in reality, that's not a real choice. You can leave the situation. You can change how you think about it. Or you can change how you behave in order to influence the other person. The most important idea is this. Never choose to do nothing. Always begin by changing your own attitude first. It is like cleaning fog off a windshield before driving. Only then can you see clearly. When your mind is clear, you stop reacting emotionally and start choosing your response more carefully and wisely. Chapter 3. The 4 Hidden Drivers. Why people act impossible. Almost every confusing or difficult behavior starts to make sense when you understand what is behind it. There are 4 invisible forces that influence how people act. Get it done, get it right, get along, get appreciated. When one of these needs feels threatened, normal people can suddenly start acting difficult. If someone is strongly driven by get it done, they care most about progress and results. When they feel things are slowing down or getting in their way, they can become controlling. They might turn into tanks, pushing through everything, or snipers, removing anything they see as a problem, or even know-it-alls trying to stay in control by always being right. People who are driven by get it right care most about avoiding mistakes. When they feel pressure or uncertainty, they can become very critical or negative. They may turn into whiners who complain a lot, no people, who always expect problems, or nothing people who withdraw completely to avoid making errors. Those driven by get along care most about relationships and harmony. When they feel tension or fear rejection, they may avoid conflict. They can become nothing people who stay quiet to keep peace. Yes people who agree with everything to please others, or maybe people who struggle to make decisions in case someone gets upset. Finally, people driven by get appreciated want to feel noticed and valued. When they feel ignored, they may act out in different ways. They can become like grenades, suddenly exploding emotionally, or friendly snipers, making sarcastic comments, or even know-it-alls exaggerating their importance just to get attention. When you understand these hidden drivers, it is like gaining a new way of seeing people. Suddenly, the difficult person in front of you is not just being annoying. They are someone whose important needs are not being met. And that changes everything about how you respond to them. Chapter 4. The Art of Connection. Blending and Deep Listening. Here's something that may sound strange at first. Conflict often happens when we focus too much on differences instead of similarities. The real key to dealing with difficult people is 2 simple skills that feel very hard to use when you are stressed or frustrated. 1. Blending. The first skill is called blending, gently matching the other person's communication style. This is not about copying them or pretending to be someone you are not. It is about adjusting your style so the other person can understand you better. If someone is speaking fast and with strong energy, you slightly match their speed and energy. If someone is calm and quiet, you lower your voice and slow down. It is like tuning a radio. You adjust the frequency so the signal becomes clear. A customer service worker once shared an example. A man called her office very angry about a billing mistake. He was shouting and very upset. Instead of staying only calm and distant, she matched his energy level, not his anger but his intensity, and said, "I can hear how frustrated you are, and I really want to help fix this for you." In a few minutes, the man started to calm down because he finally felt understood. 2. Deep listening. The second skill is listening to understand, not just listening to reply. This has a few simple steps. Pay attention to the other person's energy and tone. Repeat back some of their exact words if they say something that you want to remember. Back some of their exact words if they keep repeating them. Ask open questions to understand more. Summarize what you heard in your own words. Check if they feel understood. Most people are not really listening in conversations. They are just waiting for their turn to speak or preparing what they will say next. But something powerful happens when someone feels truly heard. They often stop being difficult. When a person feels understood, it is like pressure being released from a steam valve. Once that pressure is gone, they can finally think more clearly and respond in a calmer, more constructive way. Chapter 5. Speaking your truth without starting a war. After you learn how to listen, the next step is learning how to speak in a way that people can actually hear. One important idea is that your tone matters more than your words. One manager learned this when he realized his team thought he was always angry and difficult to approach, even though he believed he was being helpful. A useful technique is to say your intention first before you give feedback. Instead of going straight into criticism, you explain why you are saying it, for example. I'm bringing this up because I value our working relationship, and I want to make sure nothing is getting in the way. Another powerful idea is called Pygmalion power. It means that people often behave in a way that matches how you see them. So instead of saying, "You always interrupt," you could say, "That's not like you. You're usually really good at letting people finish." It may sound simple, but people often try to match the positive image you give them. A teacher saw this clearly with a student who often misbehaved. Instead of only correcting him, she started noticing small good things and saying them out loud. When you focus, you actually do really well. Over time, the student started acting better because he began to believe that was who he was. The goal is not to control people. It is to give them space to show their better side. Chapter 6. Your personal playbook. What actually works? Now let's make it practical. When you deal with a tank, someone who pushes hard, dominates conversations, and sees others as obstacles, your goal is to earn their respect. Strong personalities usually respect clear and confident responses. Here is a simple 5-step approach. 1. Stay steady. Do not attack, defend, or run away. Let their first emotional wave pass. 2. Get their attention. Calmly repeat their name until they pause. Keep your tone firm but not aggressive, around 75% of their intensity. 3. Show you understand. Repeat their main concern in your own words. 4. Focus on results. Move the conversation towards solutions because they care about action, not long explanations. 5. Keep respect open. Leave space for them to step back without losing face. A project manager used this method when a tank-type colleague was attacking her idea during a meeting. Instead of arguing back, she calmly said his name a few times until he stopped. Then she said, "I understand you're worried this won't deliver results fast enough," and shifted the focus back to their shared goal. Later, that same person apologized and even became one of her strongest supporters. The key idea behind all these strategies is simple. You are not fighting against difficult people. You are understanding what they need and working with that instead of against it. Conclusion. Your communication fitness program. Think of the difficult people in your life as personal trainers for your communication skills. They are not just problems or obstacles. They are chances to build strength you did not know you needed. Every hard conversation is like a workout. It helps you become more patient, more skilled, and better at handling people in general. You cannot change other people. But when you improve how you communicate, you often create the space for them to change on their own. As you practice these skills, whether in real life or just observing others, you are not only improving one relationship, you are building abilities that will help you in every part of your life. Because in the end, learning to understand each other is something that affects all of us. So next time you meet someone you can't stand, remember this. It is not just a test of patience, it is practice for life. Now you have tools that can turn conflict into understanding, frustration into calm communication, and difficult people into better connections than you expected.